In this video, I'm going to tell you exactly about the time that a Tesla made me realize that I had cancer. I know this sounds crazy, but just stick around till the end and you'll realize what I'm talking about. Enjoy the video. So I'm going to start from the beginning. It was summertime of 2018 and I went to Estonia to visit my family. If you didn't know, Estonia is a small country located in Europe. It's really small. There's only about 1.5 million people there, but it's kind of cool because everybody kind of knows everybody. So when we got there, we wanted to drive around the country visiting family to family. So my dad's boy went all out and he rented us a Tesla Model X. Now this thing was beautiful. I know you guys have seen Teslas, David Dobrik, all those YouTubers. They're beautiful. They're so comfortable. They have that cool, nice screen. Man, they're sexy. And it was really fast. This one was one of the performance ones. It was a P90D. So we're cruising down the highway, blasting music, and my dad was like, yo, I'm gonna rip this thing. So he pressed down on the gas, but you know, it wasn't a gas because it's electric. And this thing, it just took off. We were having the time of our lives. But little did I know, this moment would change my life forever. Was that weird?
I think.
So like I said, we're driving pretty fast. And every time we hit the tiniest bump, well, my ass would hurt. It was a really weird pain and I didn't really do anything to bring it on. So I was confused, but I immediately thought that it was a pulled hamstring. Because before all of this happened, I was really active. I was a football player. I did track and field, volleyball. I played all the sports. So a pulled hamstring wasn't really out of the question. So over the course of the next few days, the pain got progressively worse. Every little bump, every time I sat down, well, I was in pain. And it got to the point where even the simplest activity like laying in bed would cause me pain. And I'd have to get up and walk around to try to get my mind off of it. So it was really weird and I had no idea what to do. So I was trying to roll it out, I was trying to stretch, I was trying to everything I could do to get rid of this pain. But nothing seemed to work. I even tried icy hot, but nothing got better. It got to the point where I couldn't sit down for more than 5 minutes because it just brought up too much pain. I hadn't slept, I was super tired, I kind of felt like a zombie. So at this point the pain was really bad and I didn't really think it could get worse, but it did. For some reason, my foot began to go numb. It kind of felt like when your foot falls asleep, but it wasn't just numb, it was painful too. It kind of felt like it was on fire. So the first day I was sketched out, but I didn't really do anything about it. And then when it continued to get worse and worse, that's when I started to freak out. At this point, it was time to go home. And the flight home, it was awful. One of the worst pains I've ever experienced in my life was flying back home from Estonia to Canada. It was about a 9-hour flight where I had to stay still. I was wedged in between two people and I couldn't get up. So I was stuck. I couldn't walk off the pain. I had to sit there and deal with it. As soon as we got home, I knew I needed help, so I went into physiotherapy. I saw a physiotherapist and he diagnosed me. He diagnosed me with a pulled hamstring. Like, what? I told him all this pain that I've been experiencing. He decides to ignore the fact that my foot's gone completely numb and tells me I just have a pulled hamstring. So I go with it. For about 2 weeks, I let him try to treat me however he likes. It does nothing. The pain just gets worse. When I decided to go get extra help was when the pain started in the other leg. The pain started in the other leg the exact same way. It started off as a pulled hamstring, and then it moved down my leg into my foot went numb, and then it felt like it was on fire. At this point I was limping around everywhere, I hadn't slept in months, and I knew I needed help. So I went to see my family doctor, and he did some x-rays. The x-rays showed nothing though, and I knew that I was in pain. He had no diagnosis, he told me there was nothing he could do about it, but he told me that if I wanted to get help, go to emergency and get an MRI. So I listened to him. So I went to emergency at this hospital and they took me seriously. Finally, someone was actually listening to my symptoms and they were there to help. They set me up in MRI for the following day. So I stayed there overnight and they gave me pain meds while I waited. The MRI was painful because, well, I had to lay still and that was hard for me due to my pain. But as soon as it was done, they came to me with bad news. they found a tumor in my spine. They didn't necessarily know it was a tumor, but they found a growth on my spine. They needed to find out if this tumor was cancerous or not, so they scheduled a biopsy for the next day. A biopsy is when they knock you out under anesthesia. They go in with a long needle and take a sample so they can figure out what they're dealing with. So once they got the biopsy, it was time to wait. And it took up to 2 weeks. So I stayed at the hospital because I needed the pain meds, and my family and friends were just visiting in and out of the hospital. I remember it was about 2 weeks after I had the original biopsy, and we were still waiting for results. So I went out for lunch with one of my friends at the hospital. We were just walking around, and we were just, having a good time, eating, nothing out of the normal. So we decided to walk back to the room. And while we're walking back, my doctor walks past me and looks at me and says, "We got the results." So I ask her what the results are, and she tells me it's better if my parents tell me. So I was scared. I was super nervous. I was walking back with my friends. And as I walk into the hospital room, I walk in to see my parents crying. I knew I had cancer. So we didn't say a word. They didn't have to tell me anything. I just walked in and we all just hugged. So that was the moment I found out I had cancer. It's crazy that a ride in a Tesla triggered this whole ordeal. Well guys, that's the story. I'm sorry that it was a bit of a bummer, but we're starting to get better as the days go forward. I thought this was a really unique story and very personal, and I thought you guys would find it interesting. Tesla, this was all your fault. Please sponsor me. Anyways guys, as much as a bummer the story was, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope this interested you guys. If you like this type of content, please leave a like, comment down below what you want to see more of, and most of all, please subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys.